You think you've seen every great Tusk set out there? Fast, strong, and always swinging for the fences. But in this match, something about my opponent's Tusk didn't add up. And what happened next threw my entire game plan out the window. Let's get into it. I'll be leading with Duskblight, my shiny Glamora. It just sets the tone. My opponent's going to be leading with Walking Wake, a huge threat. A lot of times these things are either choice specs or choice scarfed, even in the sun, and I expect this one to be pretty much about the same. Walking Wake goes for Hydro Steam, exactly what I expected. It deals massive damage, but my Focus Sash Glamora survives on 1 HP, and thank Arceus, we avoid the burn. Huge relief. I see the Life Orb recoil from Walking Wake, and I know this sets this up perfectly. I'll combine the residual Life Orb chip with Poison ticking from my Mortal Spin, putting Walking Wake on a timer. I pivot into Hisuian Samurott, thinking that his natural bulk and water typing can tank another Hydro Steam, but they swap it up to a Dragon Pulse, and it chunks Cutlass really badly. So now it's time for my sharpness, time to apply my pressure. I'm going to go ahead and click Ceaseless Edge, regardless of what he swaps into, being this Torkoal. It hits okay, considering Torkoal has some really nice base defense. However, after all is said and done, there are Stealth Rocks up on the field, and my opponent smartly switches Walking Wake out for my worst nightmare, Gasadura. The Great Tusk, my Elephant Demon moment. This thing lives up to that, being Elephant Demon. And I realize that Ceaseless Edge is resisted, but this thing does absolutely nothing. I'm going to take the opportunity to go into my Shining Hope one more time that has done absolutely nothing this battle but prevent a Rapid Spin. Now, looking at the health that my opponent is, and I'm going to put the damage calculation on screen in just a few moments. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Iron Crown Valkyrie in here, expecting the classic offensive Great Tusk. Psyshock is a guaranteed 2-hit KO on offensive Great Tusk. But, as I said, my opponent has other plans for me to really make me stumble and quake in my boots, if you will. But then a wave of blue. Great Tusk terastallizes into a water type. Defensive Water Terra. My calculations? Gone. My next hit barely scratches it. By the way, if you're enjoying the music that we're kicking in today's show and recognize it, let me know in the comments section down below. And don't forget that timestamp. All you missed with Rapid Spin clears away my spikes, the little bit of work I've done in this battle. Leftover heals all the chip away that I did to it. This Elephant Demon isn't attacking. It's absorbing everything I throw at it, like crashing waves. My strategy? It's crumbling. So Iron Crown being useless, I go to Storm Wield. Its electric typing and mask of physical defense with Rocky Helmet will let me not only chip Great Tusk down, but I can take its attacks other than a well-timed Headlong Rush or Earthquake. Predicting that Thunder Wave, my opponent goes back into Walking Wake as it's already got a status on it, so then I cannot paralyze it. That's okay though. I'm thinking this is the opportunity. I go out to Cutlass and sacrifice it for the good of all evil to mitigate and leverage photosynthesis boosts in the sun by giving this thing a nice -2 special attack. Now, not only from this health can I Roost Stall with Zapdos, I'm guaranteeing myself I can take whatever hit this thing wants to go for at -2 special attack. So I'm going to do that. Regardless of what he does, I'm going to go ahead and heal via the Roost. He decides to bring back in the Torkoal and reset the sun up, but that is okay because that lets me get a Roosting back up to full HP. And guys, I love physically defensive Zapdos. Oh my god, static physically defensive Zapdos is one of my favorite sets. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Volt Switch. It chips it very low, but not quite enough to take it out. As we are now going to go out into Crocodile. I pivot into Crocodile while the Torkoal is on the field. This counterpunch moment is perfectly timed. Ivory Lash is built for scenarios like this. This Crocodile is specially equipped. Don't worry, we will sink our teeth into this innate stratagem soon enough in another video. How in this situation, not only can I take an Eruption, which even if it had higher health, but even in the sun, I tank Flamethrower over half. I stomach that so easily as he now goes back out into Gasadura. I'm going to go ahead and set up a bulk up here. hoping that I can get some damage of my own, as I also have a defensive Terra typing of my own in the form of Fairy. Now, what this Great Tusk is carrying, I'm not expecting at all. Not at all. I'm going to go ahead and Terrestrialize into my Fairy type. We also love the Crocodile, love this set, love this spread. Alright, here we go, firing off a Terra Blast. Speaking of Blast, go ahead and Terra Blast that like button if you're enjoying the battle. Alright, nah, it doesn't do a whole lot after the leftovers. Huge damage. It retaliates with a heavy slam and Ivory Lash goes down. Ivory Lash destroyed by a Metal Elephant. The sheer irony of that. Back to Zapdos versus Great Tusk. Rocky Helmet is going to add chip pressure and help wear this thing down. And I also have Hurricane, which would be useful if it was still a fighting type. But it's not. Unfortunate. So in comes Hisuian Lilligant. I Volt Switch out into Iron Crown. So let's pay attention to Iron Crown's HP really quickly. It's 144, we're going to swap in. We have to take this Stealth Rock on switch in, which we stomach really well being Steel type, leaving us at 133. But even with 24 HP, we survived the close combat like a true king. And speaking of a king, with those minus defenses, this Psyshock is going to obliterate Hisuian Lilligant. That is so nice. Oh, it's back to the Elephant Demon, this huge Ganesha. Now, I have a couple more Stealth Rock switch-ins in here, so I'm going to go back into Zapdos again. I really want to stack up the chip damage with the Rocky Helmet, even though I have to continually come in on these Stealth Rocks. I guess there's at least some light at the end of the tunnel. Its photosynthesis wears off, so at least it'll be doing less damage. Now, I am so scared of Roost, because he could time an Earthquake or a Headlong Rush and absolutely destroy me, unless he's just set up with knockoff and close combat and other attacks just to annoy things, get serious amounts of HP back, and to be a dedicated spinner. So finally, this Torkoal comes in for the very last time, and I know I can knock it out. I can knock out Walk and Wake, and I can also knock out, or nearly knock out, the Great Tusk with my Stabbed Electricity, thanks to its Water Terrestrialization. I guess that way of washing over me is a good thing in this case scenario. Now, Valkyron has another Stealth Rock switching in. Another one after this, too, only takes just a little bit of damage here. It's got one more Stealth Rock switch in, as he is going to most likely go back into Great Tusk, knowing that it is the best thing that could take whatever from Iron Crown. He knows he could take a Psyshock from this range, being his defensive Terrestrialization. I decide at some point that it is time for the Hail Mary. However, it is not time for it yet. I go back into Storm Wheeled again, same song and dance, to go ahead and take this close combat. Works out really well. And this is, once again, the turn that I should have clicked Volt Switch. However, I decided that Roost was more important because keeping that HP is really important. And I guess seeing the Flutter Mane in the back is what kind of preempted it. But I also could have knocked this thing out with an oncoming Volt Switch. But then I would have had to come in on Stealth Rocks. And I'm pretty sure after the Photosynthesis, if his Flutter Mane is built for speed, then that would definitely be able to knock me out from that range, and it would just eliminate the entire idea, and we wouldn't really get anywhere. So Gashajura comes out for a final time, hopefully, gets the Photosynthesis back, as I now go into Iron Crown for that Hail Mary that I was talking about in that very last Stealth Rock switch in. By no means is Iron Crown slow, so I decided to go for a Focus Blast. Oh man, a Focus Miss, and then the disrespect with the Rapid Spin kill. It just reminds me of those games I'm really bad at. Stormwheel's got a little bit left in him, and hopefully get that Rocky Helmet chip. And it doesn't matter what else happens in this battle. I am taking this dadgum Great Tusk down. It has to go. And that Rapid Spin chip is so good from the Rocky Helmet. I said iron. Wow. Ivory and irony on the brain. It's crazy. So Rocky Helmet chips it down really nicely. In comes the close combat, and it's finally taken down! As this Volt Switch knocks it out at minus defenses, Great Tusk is finally gone. I feel like I have accomplished something. I lost this battle, but the story is Great Tusk's versatility. For the longest time it was known for offense. Water Terra build, genius. Resistant to fire, ice, and steel, massive HP and leftovers recovery, and rapid spin for clearing hazards. Key takeaway, never assume anything in Pokemon. Always expect the unexpected. Thanks for watching. More unique battles and strategies are coming sooner than you think. Take care.